Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Football Palestine Extra, previewing tomorrow's friendly match, the first of two games against Algeria's not really local team, but the team they will take to the Arab Cup. So Spain is certainly a local team, but they've added 11 or 12 players from who play their trade all over the world. So we're going to be playing a good Algeria squad, not the first team led by Vladimir Petkovic, but the reigning Arab Cup champions, Algeria, with Majid Bouguera, the man who led them to the title in Qatar 4 years ago, back at the helm. And usually in these videos we divide it up into a couple parts. We're just going to be talking about this game in particular. Before I sort of kick it off, I want to thank everyone who is a premium subscriber. Your paid subscriptions make this type of content possible. Listen, if you're somehow watching this and you're not subscribed, subscribe for free. That helps me. Share the episode if you like it. You won't see it in its entirety, but I try to make 1/3 to 1/2 of the video available to everyone. As much as I can put in front of the paywall, I put in front of the paywall. And if you can spare a little bit, I'd really appreciate if you could upgrade to a paid subscription. Helps me put out content like this on a regular basis and helps spread the word about Palestinian football. Okay, with that housekeeping out of the way, let's break it down. The squad that Ihab Abu Jazar has called in 22 players officially. Now, sometimes we know Ihab Abu Jazar likes to put out a squad, and then he comes, or the media comes and says, oh, actually, there are these other players that you didn't list in the squad that are with the team. So we officially have 22 players. Might be more. I think it's actually probably going to be more than those 22. Your goalkeepers, no surprise there. Rami Hamadi, Mahdi Asif. Basically, undisputed number one for the first team, undisputed number one for the Olympic team. And it was, matriculated up the ranks from U20 to U23, now with the senior team. Defenders. I'll just list everybody in the squad, and then we'll sort of speak about the absences. Ibrahim Abu Amer gets his first call-up under this new administration. Musa Firawi is here, Yasser Hamad, Wajdi Nabhan, Ali Rabi, Ahmed Taha, Milad Termanini. Midfielders, Anas Ben Yaouda is with the team for the first time under Ihab Abu Jazar. Abdul Hadi Rashid, who was with the Olympic team last month, plays for Salam Sgharta in Lebanon, is also with the side. Mustafa Zidane makes a comeback. The rest of the midfielders, Mahmoud Abu Warda, Hamid Hamdan, Hamza Hussein, Uday Kharoub, Felipe Masri, Hamid Sawafta, and then the aforementioned Mustafa Zidane. Forwards, not a whole lot. Asad Al-Hamlawi, Khalid Nabris, Zaid Qunbar, Tamer Siyam. So you might be asking, where are a lot of big names? And the answer is they're injured. Musab Battat is injured. Hamid Mahajna, still injured. Atat Jabir, out with a long-term injury. We're not going to see him for the rest of 2025. Hopefully, maybe that March window in 2026, he'll be able to make his comeback, fingers crossed. Who else are we missing? We're missing Uday Dabbagh. We're missing Adam Kayed. We're missing Wissam Abu Ali. So I've just listed 6 players there. 5 of them would have been starters, if not the entire group of 6. Badr Musa as well is not here. He's injured. There's a lot of injuries. And, a lot of people are kind of watching the round 4 games of Asian World Cup qualifying, thinking, if we could have been there, if we could have been there. If we could have been there, that would have been great, but we would have been really up against it because you're talking about 2 key injuries to the back line. Atat Jabir is a huge loss. We don't really have another midfielder of that class. And yeah, if you go down to the best strikers in Asia, in Wissam Abu Ali and Uday Dabbagh, you're really going to be struggling. So yeah, it would be nice to be there. If we had qualified, we'd really be up against it. We'd be asking Asad Hamlawi in his first start to lead the line, and we really wouldn't have a lot of attacking options. So what do I think about this squad? There were also excused absences, and there were just multiple excused absences, and I understand why they kind of went ahead and did that. Um, if you sort of look at what this team is trying to do, they're trying to build for the future, and of course, they're trying to get prepared for Libya. And I understand, not trying to upset too many clubs. So Mohamed Habous, the club said, please, can we keep him because we have to prepare for the Asian Challenge Cup. And they said, okay. Agustin Mansour, get that. Like, he's in Paraguay. Their season didn't stop. They're trying to go for the title. Get that he's, been kept out. So I understand what they're trying to do here. But what I also don't get is why don't, okay, you have so many players from your first 30 out, okay? And you've just only scratched the surface of players choice 30 to 40. Go deeper. You might find someone that could help you, right? Like, you called up a couple of guys from the Olympic team. Abdelhadi Rashid is like the most prominent of those names. Matas is in there as well. Great. Okay. What about their teammates? Khalid Abuheja, we heard conflicting reports that he's going to stay with his club because he's going to get called up to the first team and play in friendlies. Then Nuremberg announced that he is actually called up. So I'm not sure who's more accurate, Nuremberg or Ihab Abu Jazar. Interesting one. I get also kind of keeping him with Nuremberg if he's going to miss one or both matches. Totally get that. Fine. But there are other names. Why don't you call up Mohamed Sanduqa? Hadi Dwekar. Hadi Dwekar, I thought, was like a really, really lively player. Good ball carrier, loves to dribble. Was setting the Lebanese league alight in just the assists he was providing last year. Definitely a kind of guy that you would want in this game because look at the attack. We know who's going to start. We know it's going to be Tamer Siam and Zed Qumbar supporting Asad Hamnaoui. And you don't really have kind of another type of player there. I mean, I suppose you could play Mahmoud Abu Warda as a winger and try and supplement them. But really, for those two games, you're just going to be playing those like the same faces over and over again because you don't have a lot of choices in attack. Look, even if you go older, right? Islam Batran had a good season. Was probably the best definitely the best foreign-born player in Lebanon last year. Give him a call. You have never had him in camp. See what he can provide. Yeah, okay. He turned 31. 31-year-olds can still play. Habel is so fixated on the fact that I need to get the average age down. I need to get the average age down. I need to get that. Yeah, you do for the long term, but you still have games that you're going to play in 2025. You can't discard 30 and 31-year-olds and say, that's it, all because you're going to be, 34 at the end of this cycle or 35 at the end of this cycle. I can't play with you anymore, because I'm thinking about 2030. I'm thinking about 2031. Great. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But look, Tamer Sliam is going to turn 33 this year. He's the oldest player in the pool. He definitely showed that actually there are a couple of players, particularly Siam and particularly Battat, who were kids when this team first qualified for the Asian Cup in 2015, that actually take care of themselves and are still performing at a very, very high level, where the generation before, unfortunately, quite frankly, at 32, at 33, their bodies were falling apart, right? Like, I think about Ashraf Naaman. When Ashraf Naaman hit 30, it just all went, right? Like, it went fast, unfortunately. He was not at the level to be the player Palestine needed and had for all the years leading up to his 30th birthday in 2016. So I get it, but I also think you could have gotten creative, right? Also, this camp is an opportunity because let's say you want to chase a dual national, right? These aren't official friendlies. And so you could actually, I think, technically even play players who are not who have not completed the process of transferring their citizenship in these games because it's not an official match. You know, and I'm pretty certain I didn't check like what games are listed in FIFA, but I think these games in particular cannot go into the FIFA register because the Algeria first team is playing at the same time. Otherwise, you would have four official games for Algeria in the window, and that's you can't do more than two. So I do disagree with just calling this kind of bare bones squad, right? Because it would have been an opportunity, get a couple of the youngsters in there. Maybe Sanduka impresses, maybe Dueker impresses, whomever it is. Get a guy who is thinking about maybe committing to Palestine. Invite him into camp. Let him see how we play, how we live, how the vibes are like, and try and convince him that way. I still think it's a missed opportunity in that you're looking to kind of build out a squad, but then you've gone very, very narrow with your selection. Look, the only thing I can say is that I hope that we get to see a lot of these names. We've got two friendlies, so I want to see Hamza Hussein get minutes. I want to see Felipe Massa get minutes. I definitely want to see Mustafa Zidane start. I want to see Ahmed Salah to get minutes. Like Enes Benyal, I want him to get minutes. You know, I don't want to kind of say, okay, well, we only have 20 outfield players, so you know, we're going to just kind of play the same starting 11 plus minus two guys here and there. The substitutes are all going to come in after the 60th minute. A lot of them are going to come after the 75th minute, like they did against Malaysia. You know, I mean, that's another thing. Like, you called up Omar Faraj, you gave him minutes against Malaysia. You don't have any forwards. Call up Faraj again. Like, he couldn't have been that bad, right? Like, why not just call him up again? So I've got some issues with this squad. Look, at the end of the day, it's a friendly, so it doesn't matter all that much. But you know, when it comes time to the real games, and let's face it, November is going to be very high profile, playing against the Basque Country and playing against Catalonia, and obviously our Arab Cup playing game against Libya. You cannot complain really and say, "Oh, I didn't have time." You had time. Like you had five friendlies, three windows. If it doesn't work out, yeah, it's kind of on you because you definitely had the time to find out, oh, this works, this doesn't work, this player, that player. Yeah, there were injuries, but you know, injuries are just an opportunity for you to test, right? And Asad Al-Hamnawi needed a test, right? So now he has two games where he can start as the number 9. You can give him a run out. Um, and again, like if we talk about starting lineup tomorrow, we know Rami Ahmed's going to start. We know Musa Firawi, who's only right back in the squad, is going to start. You're going to start Milad Termanini. The other question is really, you got your two top left backs, right? Ahmed Taha, Wajdi Napan. You start one of them in one game, start the other one in the other. Question is, what are you going to do? Are you going to give Ali Rabi a run out, or are you going to go with Yasser Hamad, or give him a game each? You know, Ali Rabi is a guy I think is very interesting, right? He's playing, he's scoring, even though he's a center back for Shabab Al Urdun in Jordan. Again, so I think the backline picks itself, right? For the two games, you're not going to get too experimental. It's just all about, am I going to give Ali Rabi a start in one of the games? How much time am I going to give to Ibrahim Abu Ahmed? Is he up to that level because he's playing, you know, third tier in Egypt? We really have to kind of find that out. Midfield, I think you got a lot of interesting options, good players. Hamid Hamdan, great player, not playing because of like the situation he got himself into with Petrojet trying to force a move to Zamalek. He's probably going to start. But again, I want to see Hamza Hussein, right? And okay, Adeh Kharoub's in there. Great, but maybe we need to also see Amit Sawafta, right? And we definitely need, or Felipe Massa. We definitely need to see Mustafa Zidane as a 10, though. That's what everyone has been begging to see. And this is definitely the time where you give him maybe 2 starts and you play him at least 60 minutes in both games and see what he can do because we need a number 10. And in the squad, really, like your number 10s are maybe Zidane definitely could do that job there. Maybe an Espanyol can do a job there. Maybe Abdelhadi Rashid. But really, from those three names that you have there, it's Zidane who's going to be your solution, right? So if at the end of this international window, we come out saying, like, actually, no, Zidane is the solution in midfield for us, he should be a critical part of this national team going forward, it's a win. Um, Obviously, we want to see a better performance than we saw against Malaysia. Um, we'll just write that off as a free hit because if you guys have been following the news, Malaysia illegally naturalized 7 players with falsified documents saying their grannies were born all over Malaysia. And in fact, they were born in Holland, Argentina, Spain, Brazil, anywhere but Malaysia. And it looks like, that's going to go through the process, and maybe it makes a difference down the road, the couple of points we would have gained in the FIFA ranking. But we're going to get those points back, right? We're going to get awarded a 3-0 win. It'll help our FIFA ranking, whatever. We played, we saw what we weren't really good at. If teams press us, we need to figure out ways to play around the press because we really did not do that very well against Malaysia. It'll be interesting to see what Algeria does. I'm trying to think back to the Arab Cup 4 years ago. It wasn't really a team that I thought was huge on pressing high up the pitch. They did a bit of that, but the team that really was really, really, really just imprinted in my mind that did the pressing in that tournament was Morocco. Algeria did a little bit of it, but not as much as Morocco, right? And actually, between the two sides, the side that was more impressive, and they played each other, I believe, in the quarterfinal or the semifinal of that tournament, the more impressive side was Morocco, right? Because of their pressing. So I don't know if Majid Bouguera is going to do that to us. If he doesn't, we'll have a little bit more time to breathe on the ball. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think coming out of this game, we'll have a very interesting conversation between the two games, and I'll make sure to do a video about that, kind of recapping the first game and looking forward to the second game, because whatever happens in the first game, we can learn from it, and we can iterate and we can adjust. So it's a really good opportunity for us. Other than that, we have it's close, right? Everything is going to come down really to that game against Libya. And every international window, Libya is getting better and better and better. Actually, I'm recording this a little bit late on a Wednesday because, I was going to record at like 3 p.m. Then the Libya game started. Then Libya took the lead. Then they were playing Cabo Verde that everyone said, oh, is like they've got a foot in the World Cup. And, early in the second half, it was 3-1 to Libya. The game ended 3-3. And I'm still trying to kind of think about what exactly happened there. Libya was very opportunistic. They scored or kind of forced an own goal from Pico Lopez in the first minute. The third goal came in the 58th minute. Lovely, 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 lovely free kick. And then like the 3-2 was just like it went through the goalkeeper's legs. There was also some sloppy defending on the equalizer, and then they were really up against the ropes. The keeper had to make a fantastic save. There was a goal line clearance. There's also a goal line clearance on the other side of the pitch. And then there was even I think a goal that was ruled offsides that wasn't offsides, and they don't have the relevant technology in Africa. And yeah, that kind of saved a point for them. But if you look at Aliou Cissé, he has improved this Libya side. And I don't believe he's lost an official match with this team. I'm not exactly sure, but he got 2 wins in the last window against Angola and Eswatini, a draw today against a team that's probably going to the World Cup, just 1 point away at this point. I think really, really impressive work by Aliou Cissé. Now, that said, a couple things looking forward to that Algeria match, or sorry, that Libya match that might play in our favor. Look, Libya's improving. They've got some talent there. But they won't be able to play us in a way that would expose us as badly as Malaysia exposed us. They don't have really good fullbacks. Um, they're not going to do these like crazy overloads that really just put us under pressure. They're not going to press us high up the pitch. Um, so that means that we're going to have, I think, a chance. And we also have to kind of factor in that these 2 out of those 3 games came on their home patch. They have to go play neutral territory, and they don't have a lot of experience playing against teams from our area of the Arab world. So it's also going to be an adjustment for a relatively young team. They give up chances too. And the thing about Palestine is we've got the forwards, right? And I believe that Adam Ked and Adid Debak have a clause in their contract that lets them play that play-in match. Um, Fingers crossed on Wissam Abu Ali, first of all, for his health. Second of all, for Columbus Crew to continue to slide down the rankings. As it stands now, they'll have to play the play-in match for the playoffs. And we want them eliminated in the first round of the playoffs, right? So they can win the play-in match, but we really want them eliminated in the first round of the playoffs, and we want to have Wissam Abu Ali for the international break in Spain, and then in Qatar to hopefully qualify for the Arab Cup. So, look, I'm by my nature, I'm an optimistic person. That said, I am a little bit concerned. I've listed my concerns. I think even with the injuries, there was a chance to experiment a little bit more in this squad. And that's what you want to do, really. The fact that it's only 22 players, 20 outfielders, yeah, looks like a missed opportunity to me. But we'll see what happens. And yeah, I will be live again with all of you at the conclusion of the first friendly against Algeria. And we'll take it from there. So going to end it pretty quickly on this one. And I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for your support of Football Palestine, and bye for now.